Hello and welcome to today's ASMR video, in which I will be talking about mosaics, but specific ones. We will be talking how to apply mosaics on furniture. We will see some ideas and we will learn how to make these ideas in real life. Every room in our house has some items of furniture that can be personalized by mosaics. Maybe we have some chests, drawers, bed heads, or some other furniture and screens. Here we can see some examples of this. On this piece of furniture, we can see panels and doors that have been enlivened with mosaics using pieces of old china in one geometric design. This is one example of pine bed head that is decorated with daisy filled panels. It is now beautiful country style bed. And this is example of one miniature wooden storage chest with drawers, and on each drawer there is a different motif. This picture represents screen. Here we can see this screen in stained glass mosaic. This stained glass was laid on top of clear glass so that the light can still shine through. And then many colors flow freely across these panels. And we can then have one sense of movement, tables are also very nice piece of furniture that we can cover with mosaics. Relatively inexpensive tables are available from some shops, or even somebody will just throw away old table. But we can then make this table alive when we will put mosaics on it. Alternatively, we can make easily our own tabletops from some boards, plywoods, and we can then create different shapes and sizes. Here on these pictures there are several examples how mosaic tables look like. Here we have one Celtic design with a timeless quality. And this is one example of ceramic mosaics on a garden furniture. And here these garden pots have been given a coat of paint to match the color scheme of these mosaics. Mosaic works extremely well on furniture in the garden. This chair, perhaps, is not the first item that you might think of applying mosaics to, but look at it. If you do this, it could make a real focal point for any garden. Afterwards, we will see how we can make this mosaic chair. It is fascinating. We can use shells for mosaic. We can see various types of shells that made this round table. Somebody will like it. For me, it is not maybe the best mosaic that I prefer. Now let us see how we can make some of these mosaics that we have been talking about. First, one example of mosaic tabletop, and then we will see how we can make this beautiful chair that I have shown to you. If we want to make this tabletop, we will need one keyboard. In this example, it is 2 centimeters or 3/4 of an inch thick. Of course, we need also some tools, saw, hammer, a ruler, utility knife, paint brushes, grout spreaders, and some other tools. When we are talking about materials, beside this particle board, we will need wood glue, some old china or some old tiles. We will need tile adhesive, tile growth, paint, and we can also apply a varnish if we want at the end. First, we must cut our chipboard or particle board to make a base of the required size for a table. Then we will make a frame to surround the base of the table. Then we will glue and pin this frame to the table. There must be a recess of about 3 to 5 centimeters, depending on the depth of the material that we will be using for the mosaics. In a second step, we will cut a piece of thick card or hardboard, and we will use this card for planning the design. The size of this card should be the same as it is our particle board. We will cut this hardboard with a utility knife, and we will put then this card aside. In the third step, we will paint the chipboard with diluted white glue to seal the base of our table. Then we will place large pieces of china and pieces of clay pot between 2 old towels. In this fifth phase, we will smash the china and clay pot with a hammer. This can be done in a controlled way to get the shapes we need and also to protect our eyes. After this, we will have our pieces of clay and china, and we can now make our design. We will place this china on our hardboard or card that we cut before, and without any glue we will just put them on this hardboard. The design can be whatever we want. Some random, some abstract geometric design, or something that we think is appropriate for our table. In our example, it is just a random pieces layout on this hardboard. We will leave this design aside, and then we will use grout spreader with a notch side and make a layer of tile adhesive on our table. It should be approximately 5 millimeters or 1/4 inch deep. This grout spreader for our purpose can be made out of a thick card. If we have one that is original too, we can use it, of course. In step 8, we will transfer all our pieces from our hardboard on our adhesive on our table. We should bedding these pieces down in the adhesive to hide the differences of thickness and to make the surface as level as we can. After we will finish our design on our table, we will leave this to dry overnight. And then next day we will apply the tile grout with the grout spreader. The grout should be evenly distributed between the mosaic pieces. And when this grout begins to dry, we must wipe off the excess with a damp sponge, as we can see here on our picture number 10. When the grout is dry, then we will use a dry, soft cloth to buff up the shiny ceramic surface and This will reveal all the colors. We will paint the frame of our table using a color that will complement the mosaics. And at the end, we will apply 2 coats of varnish if this table will be for outdoor use. Our table should look like this one. Of course, we will need legs, but we can buy these legs in some store, and then this table we can use for any purpose. I think it is very nice. It doesn't look so hard to do. Maybe I will do it sometime, and then I will show you the result. For our second project that we will be talking about today, we will make the garden chair. Let us find it on our book. If someone of you that are watching this video wants from me to explain maybe some other project that you will see in this book, please tell me in your comments, then I can make a video also about this. This is a storage chest. Very nice, I think. Black and white tile table. Bed head. Decorative panel. Very nice. Garden seat. Garden table. Star table. Flower garden table. Daisy covered table. Stained glass table. Very interesting design. Stained glass screen. crazy paving chair that we will now see how we can make it. What we will need for this: one old wooden chair, in this example we have a plywood sheet, but it is optional. If our chair is in a good condition, we can use as it is. And beside this old wooden chair, of course, we must have our tiles. In this example, we will use a china. As you can see on this picture number 5, this china is from old cups. But if you don't have these old china cups, you can use some other material. For example, tiles. Of course, not very thick tiles, but we can replace this china with tiles. For the beginning, if our chair have some padded seat, we should remove it. If there is a wooden pallet beneath the padding, we can use it as a base for our mosaic. If not, we will cut a piece of plywood to fit in this place. For our second step, we should strip the chair of any paint or varnish with paint thinner and sand down with sandpaper. Then we must paint the whole chair with diluted white glue to seal it. If we replace the old seat, we also then have to stick this seat in place with a strong wood glue. In this example, we are using also tile adhesive to fill any gaps around the edge, and this will give extra strength and flexibility to our chair. After this, we should draw a design on flat surfaces of the chair with a pencil or chalk. You can use any shapes, but even simple ones can be effective, and it will be easier to work with later on. As I mentioned before, now you should select china that has colors and patterns to suit the motifs that you have drawn. Using the nippers, cut the china into the appropriate shapes and sizes for your design. In step 6, you should spread the adhesive mixture within the areas of your design and press the china firmly into this adhesive. You should cut the china into small, varied shapes. Working on small areas at a time, begin to tile the rest of the chair. You can start with the back of the chair first, moving to the legs and finally to the seat. Here is the advice that where one section of wood meets another, you can change the pattern of the china that you are using. I think it is good advice. It could look nice. For making the side part of the chair, you should cut appropriately patterned china into thin slivers, into thin pieces, and use these to tie the edges of any thin sections of wood. After you put all the china on the chair, leave for at least 24 hours to dry completely. In this book, they are giving us advice that we should mix tile adhesive and using a flexible knife, place this adhesive into the four corners of every piece of wood. Then they said that we should use our fingers to rub it over the flat surface. After we finish this, we should leave this overnight to dry. For me, it is one way to do it. The other way is to use standard grout to place it as a filler between the china pieces. It is up to you to decide how you want to do this. But anyway, after you finishing with the filling of the gaps between the china, you should leave it to dry. In this example, in this book, they said that the last step is to sand off the excess adhesive. And here is written that this can be quite a difficult job, as there are many awkward angles. Alternatively, you can use some diluted hydrochloric acid, but you must wear goggles and rubber gloves and apply it outside where is good ventilation. For the end, they said that you should wash the residue from the surface with plenty of water when dry. The tiling of the chair, as we saw, can be made on different ways. This way that is suggested in the book we can use, and I understand that sanding is necessary if we are using a china from a cup, because then these pieces are not flat. Maybe it will be easier if you will use some tiles that have beautiful patterns. They are a little bit thicker than china, but they are flat, and then you can use just a normal grout to fill the spaces between the tiles, and I think that it also can be applied to this project. It is not an easy one, but I must admit that it looks very, very nice. With this, I will conclude today's session. I wish you